How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of East Asia Soft, welcome to today's stream. Today I'm playing a game called Crime Opera 2: The Floodgate Effect, and my bosses wanted me to let you know that, excuse me, this and Crime Opera Fandis, The Caterpillar Candids, will both be available on consoles this week. So we got two Crime Opera games coming to consoles this week. This is one of them. Consider this an early look at the game. As usual, I'm going into this completely blind. I have no idea what to expect, what kind of game this is. Yeah, so let's see. All I've got is this little tagline here. Experience a new tale of mafia life. It kind of looks like it could be a visual novel. Let's go ahead and hop in and see. Crime opera. Are they going to sing? Oh, Radalaika. Hello. I always love these games from Radalaika. Check out the options. I'm assuming that this is a visual novel. Turn. Okay. Evening, Dimlord. How are you doing? Let's go ahead and start. Thanks for downloading Crime Opera 2. To save your state, please open the main menu options. Man, it is warm here. It's like over 60 degrees outside now. Like, it was below freezing 2 days ago, and now it's so hot I had to turn on my air conditioner. Hope it turns on soon. I'm going to just turn on my little desk fan right now because it is getting warm already. To save your state, please open the main menu options. You could either read it straight through as a kinetic novel, or you could choose to read it with the addition of choices and alternative routes to shed more light on the world surrounding the characters. Ooh. So yeah, visual novel. Please choose which version you would prefer to read. Play the prologue, recap of Crime Opera 1, kinetic novel, no choices, or visual novel, choices included. Well, I think we should at least play the prologue first, because I've never played Crime Opera 1. Oh, what's that, Dim? Well, let's start by doing the recap of Crime Opera 1, and then after that I'll leave it up to the chat to decide. I'm leaning more towards visual novel, choices included, but we'll see. Ugh. This guy's name is Bill. Well, it ain't much, but it's home for the time being. Bigger than our last place, at least. I know you had your heart set on a house. We'll get there someday. We just can't afford it right now, I know. It's fine. The wedding set us back, but we'll build up our empire again. Heh, empire. I must have been asleep for that part of our story. Yeah, me too. Speaking of stories, though, we agreed we would find time to talk about your family situation. The wedding is a couple weeks away. You only invited your siblings. Oh, mice. Or should I say, oh, rats. Well, that's annoying. This is kind of crazy because my wife and I are actually looking into getting a house now. So we've lived in this apartment for 3 years, looking to get a house. What are the odds that we're talking about moving into an apartment instead of a house? No, mice, not rats, thank God. That would be worse. It would be. Mice are a lot easier to get rid of, and they're a lot less dangerous, too. I know. And you've been so understanding about not pestering me. I've tried again and again to begin, but every time I open my mouth to start, I just don't know how or where to even begin. I understand. It's not like I'm completely in the dark here. I know your family has a shady history, and that the night of your mother's murder, there was some sort of power struggle between your father and your uncle. I read the newspaper articles you gave me, but they didn't divulge much. I know, I just have a hard time explaining it. and wanted you to know who you were getting involved with, at least a little. Are you sure you're up for hearing the truth about that night? Actually, you're kind of right, Tim. Well, hopefully it's a situation you can very easily remedy, so good luck to you. Hi, Andrea. I just want to understand what you've been through. Take your time. I know none of what happened is a reflection of you. Of that, I'm not so sure, but alright, I'll try. It was almost 11 years ago. I suppose it all started when my grandmother died. You see, the Gallo family was involved with some really shady things. Think like small time mafia, or I don't know, maybe it wasn't so small time after all. We were fairly well off. Hmm. The renting company needs to, but they are unlikely to do anything. I feel like there are laws that force them to do something. At least there are here. I'm not sure about there, obviously, because you're in a completely different area of the world from I am. But I feel like if you need an exterminator, there should be some sort of protection to make it happen. Either you do it, or they do it, or something. There's got to be something for that, right? When my grandma died, my dad and his older brother, my Uncle Gerald, they started getting pushback from a lot of their partners and competitors in their various business ventures. My Uncle Gerald has been doing things he wasn't supposed to behind my father's back, and apparently it had been going on before then, too, unbeknownst to my grandmother. I don't know all the details, but that's the gist of what I heard from my father. Anyways, everyone always looked to my father as the bad guy of the two of them, so when things started going wrong, it was generally assumed he was responsible. You mentioned his anger issues. Is that why he wasn't invited? Why you're so estranged from him? Yes, he's an awful man through and through. He lied and cheated on my mom, he abused his kids, and he threatened everyone over the smallest things. He can't be trusted, especially now. Since the night my mom died, he's become a complete alcoholic. I can't stand to be near him, and that's why I left. So, I had this friend who ended up getting mixed up in it all. He was my best friend. He was working for one of my father's competitors, doing small deliveries. Nothing big, he was mostly innocent in it all. But my father and his brother didn't see it that way. They thought he was poisoning me against the family and acting as a sort of spy for their enemies. Ah, I see. That does complicate things. Well, I hope it doesn't turn into a bigger issue. Ugh. So you see, it wasn't just my mom who died that night. Gavin did too. My uncle killed them both. I'm so sorry, Shauna. Did you witness it? I didn't see him die, no. I did get I did see my mother get shot. It was my fault. It was dark. They were talking. He was angry with her, threatening her while holding a gun. I said something. I don't even remember what now. It startled him and it went off. My God. My mother was getting ready to leave that night. My aunt was doing the same, and my uncle blamed my mom for it. He was already in trouble with everything else that was going on. So I guess he just went over the edge, and she was the one who paid for it that night. Bill, are you okay? Of course, just processing it. What happened after that? Well, after that, he got scared and took my brother Ron hostage as my father confronted him. My youngest brother, Bertie, was the one who shot my uncle, though. He's different. I've always been a little afraid of what he might be capable of. But that night, I suppose I was a little glad about it for the first time. He saved Ron's life. I can't imagine what it's been like for you, living with all of this for so long. I've gotten used to that. There's still so much I don't know about the events leading up to that night, and I don't even want to know anymore. It's all in the past. But now, the hardest part of it all was the guilt that came when I left my 2 brothers and my little sister alone with my father. He's a monster, Bill, and I abandoned them for my own selfish reasons. Hey, none of this was your fault. You did what you had to do, and you're leading by example so they will know what to do when the time comes that they can escape him too. You know I'd do anything for you. If there's something we can do to gain custody or... I've thought of that too. It's not going to be easy. He's a stubborn man, and even if he doesn't want them, he'll fight to keep what he believes he owns. And my cousins, they're living under his roof too. I feel so helpless. Shauna. Don't you dare tell me it's going to be all right. Maybe not, but you will be. That I can promise. Okay, guess that's what happened in part 1. Also, look at me. I am a mere 32 and a half days away from leaving for Asia. I even accounted for daylight savings time, which pops in, I think, next week. So, yeah. There we go. That's when our plane takes off. I'm so excited. I could shut up about it if it's boring, you guys, but you guys haven't told me to shut up yet, so I think it's fine. Okay. Do we do a kinetic novel with no choices or a visual novel choices included? I'm leaning more towards visual novel because it really seems to entertain you guys whenever I'm tortured by making a choice that may or may not ruin the game. Brianna, my beloved. Anyway, yeah. So, what do you think? Choices or no choices? I'm leaning towards choices. Choices. Yep. Dim Lord has spoken. And so has Andrea. Crime Opera Studios presents. And now the kids are grown up and they're not innocent anymore. Oh, in a completely different context, that would, anyway. Yes, and also hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Spester? I'm sorry. Hello, welcome to the chat. Yes. This game and the first game are coming to consoles this week, so yay. That's why I'm playing it, to celebrate the release. Oh, yeah, it is always cool when developers actually come in. I just played that, the recap of number 1. It sure got my attention, that's for sure. Wow, there's a lot of characters in this. Look at all these characters. Wow. S. Bester. I'm going to go with S. Bester. Part 2 of a 6-part series. Wow. 24 chapters with 6 endings. A tale of loyalty and deceit, murder, and both the strength and something. Sean Bester. All right. Well, it's better than Zbeasty R1. I don't know. Chapter 1, Izzy's Abuse. Is that Izzy? Your detention assignment for today is to write a personal story, just like the one in the novel we've been reading. Something true this time, Isabel. You have 55 minutes. And there it is again. Yet another assignment they can use to try and delve into my psyche, to figure out why I am the way I am and why I do the things they catch me doing. I know nothing about her, but I really like her design. It's cute. They want to try and understand me. All they see is a troubled young girl who refuses to abide by their rules. They think the why of the equation is all they need in order to find the solution. Because there's no way in hell that an 18-year-old could be that complicated, right? Just find the source of the problem, and the answer should be obvious. It's funny, even an English teacher arrives at the same math-based conclusion. My actual math teacher operates in a much simpler way, ironically. All you gotta do is put on a sad puppy dog face and whine a bit. Promise you won't be late, or whatever next time. Saves you a hell of a boring afternoon. And again, that only worked for the first 6 times or something. I definitely used up all my luck with him. Alright, well, there you go. Yes, and I am playing on PlayStation, for what it's worth. See? Still, I'm out of detention fast enough to catch the next bus home when it's with him. Unfortunately, today I was caught sleeping in class by my female English teacher. Puppy dog face does not work with her. In fact, I think it only makes her angrier. Not my fault she's an ugly bitch that never gets her way. But yes, that's it. Fell asleep. I guess she must be losing her patience with me. The last few times have been really weak excuses for detention. Fucking bitch. So, there it is. A blank canvas on my desk. A new lie to compose. I think I'll be on drugs today. Something about getting hooked on cocaine at a bakery, thinking it was powdered sugar. That'll be funny. Last time I was a government operative posing as a schoolgirl to infiltrate a mass drug ring. I got a whole week's worth of detention for that one. I wonder if I can make it 2 weeks this time. Oh, she's a brat. Wow. She really doesn't care. And now I'm curious why. They probably think they know everything about me anyway, and how they're supposed to help me. Why go through all the trouble of digging further? I mean, my real backstory is so dull and cliche on paper, as if it were pulled right from a movie poster. Tragic girl, loses parents, forced to live with an asshole uncle, acts out as a result of her depression. This is her sister. This is her little sister from the prologue. I'll have to look at that later. This is her little sister. Wow, their personalities could not be any more different. Yada, yada, yada. And it's not like everyone doesn't know about me anyway. My dad's psychotic breakdown and death were all over the news for weeks. Suspected mob boss shot to death by 8-year-old nephew. What a joke. That little boy, of course, being my cousin Birdie, the weirdest, most psychotic fucking head case I'll ever meet. No, this isn't her little sister, this is her cousin. Yes? Yeah, cousin. And then there was my mother a year later. Hung herself because she couldn't handle the pressure of it all. I know a lot of it had to do with the threat she got from my Uncle Xander, telling her to keep her mouth shut about all of his illegal activities, but to hell with her anyway for abandoning her kids. This is like a noir. Man, this is straight up like a noir video game. This is really cool. Seems pretty standalone so far, although I am glad I did that recap at the beginning. I mean, Christ, Maya was only 3 at the time. No decent person would do what she said. Oh, that's interesting. Each game takes place 10 years after the previous, so they're pretty standalone. Okay. And this is part 2 of a 6-part series, so that means part 6 will take place 50 years after this one? Unless I'm completely misunderstanding. In any case, that's a pretty cool concept. So, fuck her. And yet, here I am again, expected to write down all my woes and traumas like a goddamn mental patient. As if it wasn't enough that they forced me to see the school psychiatrist, they feel the need to bust me on every little rule I break. Honestly, I'm not even joking. It's always little things that don't hurt or affect anybody. Sleeping in class, coming back late for lunch, the occasional cutting from class, smoking outside the school's pit. That's it. Seriously, you'd think with all the attention they give me, I'd be sending threatening letters to people or carrying a gun around in my purse. But no, it's all fairly normal stuff. So now I'll treat them to another one of my fun fantasies in written form. It's all I can give them anyway, right? All the other stuff they want to know is just fluff. None of it matters because someday it'll all go away. Things in the past can't be changed, and I've accepted that. The things happening now, they'll change. I've accepted that too. My brother Kevin made that promise to me. We promised each other, actually. Things will be fine again, as long as we stick it out together. Now to write this paper. My name is Izzy Gallo, or at least that's what it used to be. Something true! Jesus! My teacher's hovering over my shoulder. I thought she had left the class. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Damn it. I mean it, Izzy! This is a female teacher. I mean it, Izzy! You're a few detentions away from expulsion! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Anyway. Isabel! Fine. Isabel, Izzy for short. How have I never put that together in my life? How have I never realized that Izzy is short for Isabel? Bitch. I think Izzy agrees with you, Tim. Am I supposed to write this with her lurking over my shoulder the entire time, or what? That's when I hear her start to walk away. I'll be back in 52 minutes. Yeah, whatever. Just get the hell out of here. Finally. So now what am I gonna do? Tell the truth? About what? If she were any good at her job, she'd at least try to clarify. Fuck it. Fun story it is. My name is Izzy Gallo. I used to be Iggy before the sex change and everything. And no, it wasn't by choice. Some retard sold me the wrong drugs one day. Little did I know it was 99.9% estrogen. Wait, is that true? Can you believe it? Neither did I. That is until I walked by a mirror and realized I was growing boobs. Screw you, teacher. I come up with a ridiculous tale, as I always do, filled with a colorful backstory and shady characters, not to mention a plot that scientifically could probably never happen. Okay, not true. Can estrogen ever be ingested? Would 99.9% of it kill a man? Probably should. Anyway, it just got more and more ridiculous as I continued writing. It always does. I'm not even finished by the time the teacher comes back, but oh well. I'd rather be doing anything else anyway. Time's up! Bring it to me! This was inevitable. Here now comes the part where she gives me a disappointed look, uses her disappointed tone, spouts out her disappointed words, and tries to get me to feel disappointed in myself. Fat fucking chance there. I walk up to where she's standing and hand her the papers. It's a whole 3 pages long, front and back, skipping a line in between each row of words, though. She reads for about 4 or 5 seconds before looking away. And she holds it out for me to take back. As if I'd want to take it back.
Same time and place tomorrow, Isabel.
Yeah. I grab the papers back from her and walk out of the classroom. No goodbyes. In reality, neither of us give a flying fuck about the other state of being anyway. She can go get in a car accident for all I care. I'll just end up forgetting about her by tomorrow until I'm forced to see her ugly, unwashed hair again in class. Small typo there. Until I'm forced to her see instead of see her. It's fine. You're allowed 1 or 2 typos in a game. I've read worse. Maybe I'll skip. Takes a while to get to my locker. I'm way on the other side of school, which is a total pain in the ass when it comes to catching the bus after my last class ends. How the hell did I get so screwed up so bad on that lottery? Not like it matters now. It's long gone. I'll have to take the city bus home. Gosh darn it. There's always one. Look, I'm a writer. I've written maybe 2 million words of fiction in my life. I've read and reread and edited, proofread, copywritten, like all kinds of stuff. I've had other people look at it. And then, years later, I spot another typo. I made a reading mistake. You're only allowed to as well, yeah. Well, anyway. So yeah, it's fine. Sometimes I wish I'd get jumped and beaten to death so it could all be blamed on this fucking detention. Asshole teachers made me take the unsafe bus home. It's all their fault. Fire them all! I guess I'd still come out on the losing end of that one, though. And just when it feels like things couldn't get any worse, I see a familiar face stumbling down the hallway. Oh no. Izzy? Hey.
Hey, I knew it was you. What are you still doing here? I thought you hated school.
Detention. Oh, I see. Of course I would run into my cousin now, of all time. So is this the little sister? I'm guessing yes. I am guessing yes. Day Louise. Yes. Sorry, again, I'm in the process of buying a house and sometimes you just can't wait to respond to stuff. Okay, where are we? Of course I would run into my cousin now of all times. As if I haven't been held up enough. Now she's gonna want to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, 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 blah, 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 like she always does. I actually still feel bad for her, having, like, no friends. I mean, we used to be close as kids. That pretty much changed the night my father killed her mother and her brother killed my father. And it isn't like we ever held it against each other. I think we were too young at the time to really understand what was going on. New house is super exciting, but it does mean sometimes I just need to peel my eyes off the stream. I love you guys. I'm paying attention to you guys. It's just, you know, real life. None of it even matters now. But she's still too weird and boring for me to want to hang out with her, though.
I'm meeting my friends here to work on a project. It's gonna be really fun.
Somehow I doubt that. I don't know if Amy really even has any friends. Most of the time I just see her hanging out by herself. That's why I kind of feel bad for her. Just not bad enough to put myself through the torture of hanging out with her now. Still, maybe I should give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she did somehow manage to make a friend or two. If so, good on her. Maybe she'll stop trying so hard to hang out with me now.
Careful if you're going to ride the city bus. You know how weird those people are who ride it.
Uh-huh. I think I may have mentioned that to someone while she was around once. Typical of her to try and emulate me like that. That's the real reason she can't make friends. She just tries too damn hard. Are you kidding? What kind of self-projection is this? After our mom died, she had some crazy schizophrenic breakdown or something, and her dad put her on those pills. They made her turn really quiet and docile, and took away a big chunk of what little personality she had to begin with. That made it difficult to make friends, so she started trying super hard, and the results just became that much worse. Anyways,
How's Kevin? Have you heard from him lately?
Just as I figured, she's not gonna let me get away that easily. Even though she could just wait to ask me this stuff at home. We live in the same goddamn house, for crying out loud. Well, that would be fun. Although I feel like if there's going to be a collection, it would make more sense to get all 6 games released in a single package, right?
Not really. He's fine, I guess.
He's happy, I would think. He's engaged since this past summer, and he's working for my uncle, even though Kevin does the actual work while my uncle sits in his frickin' chair all day getting drunk. Making a pretty good living of it, too. His girlfriend certainly isn't complaining with that ridiculously huge rock he bought her. Wow. I thought she meant a actual rock. Ring, we're talking about a diamond. I thought he bought her like a boulder or something. Wow, that Welcome to r/whoosh. Okay. And ring, we're talking about a ring. I actually don't have anything against Rachel. She's a nice, wholesome, if just a little boring kind of woman. She makes him happy, so that's all that matters.
Have they set a date for the wedding yet?
Summer, I think.
Oh, that's coming up pretty soon then. I hope they've been planning a lot.
Yeah, probably. I should probably go before I miss the bus. Whew, got a word in much easier than I usually do with her.
Oh, right, sorry. I better go meet my friends before they think I stood them up too.
That'd be the day. Oh well, if it gives me an excuse to get out of here, that's fine with me. Alright, see you at home.
Yeah, see you too.
So lame. I walk at a decent pace to get away, just in case she decides she remembers something else she needs to ask about that can't wait until later. It's just so hard to feel sorry for her when she's so goddamned annoying. At least I don't have to feel bad about ignoring my younger sister Maya. She's equally annoying, but she at least has a life to fall back on. How big is this family? My goodness, that's like 6, 7? And that's just the kids. 4 on one side, 3 or 4 on another at least. Boy. That is as much of a life as one can have at the age of 13. Arriving at my locker, I throw my bag inside with all my books and lock it up. I never do any homework anyway, so why bother bringing it home with me? Having done that, I'm off. As soon as I reach fresh air, I realize I'm dying for a smoke. 18 years old and addicted already. That's... Shit. I think I might be hooked on cigarettes. I can't say I wasn't warned. There are apparently studies coming out now saying how bad they are for you and that they cause cancer. So does this place this story at a very specific time period in history? Because I believe that came out in like the 60s or 70s. Definitely not the present day. I think like I was taught growing up that smoking is bad for you, and it had been known for quite some time by that point. Actually, those studies have been going on for a while. It's just that no one wanted to believe them. Yep, that would place it. Okay, 80s. Yeah, there you go. Little context tells us a whole lot. Now it's pretty much a proven fact. Smoke cigs, get cancer, and die. Just my luck. I look at my watch then and realize I need to hurry if I want to catch the bus. Otherwise, I'll have to wait another hour or so for the next one. Or walk. Pretty safe to say that won't be happening in this lifetime. At the station, I sit down on a bench and wait as patiently as possible for the bus to arrive. I'm already dreading the rest of my evening. I'm not in the mood to see anybody. I guess I never really am when it comes time to go home. I'm going to swap back to my normal voice. I think the annoying voice is a little too annoying to keep up for the whole stream. It's exhausting having to deal with Amy, Maya, Birdie, and Uncle Xander. Especially Uncle Xander. That fucking prick. If I could crawl under my bed covers and drift off to sleep for the whole night, I'd be happy as can be. This one's 1989, first game was 1980. Oh, okay. Cool. That won't happen, though. Something else will keep me up because something always does. And I'm the one who always gets caught in the middle of it. No matter what it is, it always comes back on me. By the time I get on the bus, there are a bunch of people there, as we could see. I'm sorry. As luck, or the opposite of luck would have it, I see Birdie amidst the crowd. It's awkward because our eyes meet at the same time. He isn't like Amy, though. He doesn't come over to say anything. That's how we are around each other. That's how we've always been ever since the night he shot my father dead. And how could it be any other way? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Still, I always feel so painfully awkward around him, especially like this. There's nowhere I can go to escape. We're stuck with each other, just like at the house. At least there I can go to my room to get away from him, but here I can't do anything but look away awkwardly. It's not that I hate him. I'm just scared of him. He's weird and he always hangs out by himself. It's the same as Amy, except Amy tries to get people to accept her. I almost feel like Birdie tries to do the opposite. He prefers to be by himself. That's not normal for a teenager, is it? I mean, human beings are supposed to be social beings. They need other people to be happy. You were really unlucky yesterday? Why is that, Dim? And if that's really the case, even with him, then what? Won't he eventually just snap? I have visions of his future, being jailed for raping and murdering some poor, unsuspecting girl, all because he doesn't know how to interact properly with people. Oh. That's that's actually pretty funny. That's both amazing luck and awful luck. I don't envy you. It could happen, seriously. Who the hell am I supposed to convince? Uncle Xander? Huh, That fucking old drunk doesn't give a shit about anyone or anything but himself. Shauna, she fucking abandoned him when she left home all those years ago. She left us all. Sure, she pretends to care, coming back every few months to visit, make it look like she gives a fuck. She doesn't, though. She's free of it all. Why should she care? And of course, there's my brother Kevin. He works with Birdie. He's afraid of him too. He won't say it, but I know he is. But what can he do about it? He's trying to build a future for himself. And yes, one day I know he'll save me from the hell that is my life. But right now isn't the time. Who else is there? Ron. Well, he knows there's something wrong with Birdie. But that's why he can't be trusted either. He tries to protect him. I can't really explain it, but they have some weird bond. It's like a master and his dog or something. Ron stays sit, Birdie complies. Or Ron says sit, Birdie complies. Quick question, S. Bester. What would you say the time would take to complete this game? Like, if you were to go with the kinetic route, where you don't have any choices, and you were to just play it casually, how long would you say the game is? Like, 10 hours, 50 hours, 100 hours? Visual novels can be long or short. I've played visual novels that I've beat in under half an hour. And then there's ones that take like 500 hours. So what would you say the completion time would be for this game? Just a rough estimate. Around 10-ish, I would say. Okay, well, there you go. Okay. Whatever. No one will listen. It's just a matter of time before Birdie snaps and kills someone. Or multiple someones. 24 chapters long. Yep. Okay. I'm just going to do my best to stay clear of it in the meantime. I'll stay clear of him. That aisle has one L instead of two. I hate to throw that out there, but I just did. Jesus Christ, every time I look over, he glances my way. So creepy. It's like he wants to say something, but doesn't know what, or even how to say it. Fucking what? Just stop looking at me, you fucking creep! Just then, the bus pulls to a stop as it reaches the next station. This is my stop, and now I have to follow slowly behind this idiot all the way back home. The awkwardness continues. It never ends, really. Taking the initiative, I move to get ahead of him in the crowd of people. That freak can walk behind me. If you're that afraid of him, is that really such a good idea? Or at least that's what I thought when we first left the station. Now he's following behind me way too close for comfort, and the street is deserted to top it all off. Called it. Izzy. Her name is Izzy. What is her problem? She is such a jerk. She's such a brat. I'm sure she's traumatized and probably feels unloved, but man, it really does feel like there's something else. She just inherently hates everyone and everything, man. I keep glancing back at him, making sure there's a safe distance between us. She's just direct. Yeah, I guess fair enough. Slow down, freak. You're getting too close. Am I going to have to turn around and say something? God, I think I am. Damn it. I mean, it makes sense, but... Well, she's 18. She is a teenager, yeah. Plus, her family's passed. I'm not blaming her for it. It's just, wow. What an asshole. Did you want something? He stops suddenly and looks at me, acting surprised. She's 16, not 18. No, it said she's 18. You looked it up. Well, The text said 18 earlier. I doubt he really is he? He pulls the earbuds out of his ears. Huh, never seen those before. Hadn't even realized he had them. Fuck, now I'm paranoid. He wasn't even paying attention to me. Well, now I have to say something. Huh? Would you not follow so close to me? You're freaking me the fuck out. Ah. Hey, Tim. Straight from the dev. We're both wrong. Congratulations. His exact words. It's right there on screen. You're both wrong. First 3 words right there. Thank you. I now feel validated. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the game released. I know Sony and Nintendo have been upping their rules lately, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Great. Now I'm made to look like a bitch. Good thing no one else is around to see this. He makes a face of annoyance and walks on ahead of me. Good. I don't need to be looking over my shoulder every 20 fucking seconds. Freak. I slow my pace to an acceptable speed, the way he should have thought to. With every step, he gets further and further ahead, until at last I can't even see him anymore. And just like that, I'm lost in my thoughts again. What a freak. Does he even know how creepy he is? I can't believe I'm related to something like that. The front hall light is on when I walk in the door. Birdie must have thrown it on when he came in. I don't understand why. It's not even that dark yet. What a waste of power. Whatever. He did it, not me. If Uncle Xander throws a shitstorm, it's Birdie's fault. Ah, there she is. I knew she'd be down here somewhere. Oh, this is Maya, her little sister. She's 8, if I remember right. 13. She's 13. Hi, Izzy. Hey, Maya. Did you have a good day at school? No, I hate school. Heh, you and me both, kiddo. Wow, they do look related. Wow, that is uncanny, really. Heh, she's alright for a little kid. She's a lot like I was at that age. Maybe a little less angry, but hey, I had a much happier childhood to compare it to. She never really had that. I guess when your life is pretty much always shit, you don't know any better. Poor Maya. I guess everyone got aged up. Or maybe poor me, since I lost everything I used to love. She'll never understand that. What grade can I quit school again? Grade 19 is the earliest by law. No, there's no such thing. It's way earlier than that. Heh, I sometimes forget she's getting older. It's weird to actually notice when someone gets less dumb every day. But that's really how it is with Maya. Grade 10, I think. But you'll become a homeless person begging on the streets. Homeless person? As in a person who doesn't have a home? I know what it means. I just didn't know that was how they got to be that way. Yep, stay in school, don't do drugs. I take a quick look in the fridge for something to snack on. It's practically empty. You'd think we were living with a bum as a breadwinner. Cheap piece of shit. Fuck it, going upstairs. This is a nice house. Uncle Xander wants to see you. And he's going to be really angry if you don't go to him. He's in a bad mood again. That means he's pissed drunk as usual. But I'm not kidding myself here. I completely expected this. It's always like this. Every goddamn time I come back home. Old TV. It's the 80s, so yeah, there would be an old TV. I tap at the door twice before entering. I don't wait for his reply because he barely notices anything when he's alone in the dark with nothing but his alcohol to keep him company. The scene before me is exactly as expected. Uncle Xander is sitting on his bed, drink in one hand, television remote in the other. He stares blankly at the TV screen, never even flinching to acknowledge that I'm here. You wanted to see me? I see this guy and I immediately think Fat Tony from The Simpsons. Why are you so late? His eyes never move from the TV. His tone is dark, not angry, or at least not angry for him. If any other person had that tone, you would definitely think they were mad. I need to give him a different voice. That's just his regular tone, though. His drunken manner. Detention.
Oh, right. I forgot what a worthless little idiot you are.
Step one to these occasions is always the same. He asks questions and follows them up with insults. It doesn't even get to me anymore. Not really. I mean, I just never know what to say after. If I talk back, he might go crazy because that's what he likes to do. If I say anything back at all, actually. So I just stand there waiting for the next one.
What did you do this time?
Slept through class. I wonder why that is. Heh. That's what I want to say. But that would mean a beating.
Heh. Belligerent and lazy. Can't you do anything right?
He whips his glass across the room and it smashes against the wall. It shatters into pieces everywhere. My shoulders flinch at the sound. I should have expected it though, stupid me. Well, this was in 1989, Dim, so the 80s were weird. Dropping the remote from his other hand, he grabs for his cane. It's actually more of a staff, but whatever, he uses it like a cane, old bastard.
What? Nothing to say for yourself? Pathetic.
I've tried looking hurt. I've tried seeming defiant. I've tried fighting with him. Nothing has ever worked. Now I just try to look as expressionless as possible. I won't give him the satisfaction of a reaction to his fits.
Speak!
He stomps on the ground angrily. That's step 2. I'm relieved. He's too tipsy to do much more than that.
So, that's how it's going to be, huh?
He moves forward and dangles his legs from the bed like a weak little kid.
Come closer.
I roll my eyes, but he surprises me and grabs my wrist, pulling me violently toward him. Our eyes lock and he stares angrily at me. But then all of a sudden the gaze softens and he starts to look a little sad.
You look so much like her. It's uncanny.
He means Serena. She used to be his mistress, but I only knew her as a babysitter. No one knows what happened to her, but she disappeared the night before my father was killed.
Everyone left me that night. Everyone worth a damn anyway. But not you! No one is ever getting away from me again. You hear me? I own you all!
Step 3, grasping for any kind of control over the uncontrollable. I close my eyes and wish to the heavens that just for tonight, someone else could be the subject of his tantrums. I'm not that lucky, though. End of chapter 1. Would you like to read the tips? Sure, why not? What an opener, huh? Man, poor Izzy. The two police officers sit down across from one another at the table. Cold coffee and old beat-up paper folders await them. The older police officer pushes the folders forwards towards the younger officer.
I got a new assignment for you.
All due respect, I'm already as deep in the last one you assigned to me.
That's why you're the only one I could turn to. It involves the people you're currently investigating.
How's that?
Without having to be told, the younger officer turns the folders around so that the titles can be read.
We're going off the books with this one.
You can't be serious.
I'm fucking dead serious.
The gallows. Just how the fuck am I supposed to pull this off?
Heh, according to your last report, you've already got a lead.
That wasn't a lead. That was a goddamn word in passing. I don't know if anything involving them is going down.
I know, and that's what I want you to find out. I need you to dig up whatever it is you can on them.
Jesus Christ.
The younger officer takes a sip of coffee, immediately spitting it back into the cup it came from upon realizing how stale it is.
I know, it's a matter for the FBI, but the FBI hasn't done jack shit about this lowlife piece of garbage since Gerald Gallo was killed 11 years ago. If we have an in, we need to take it.
Xander Gallo is a drunken old wash-up. There's no way in hell he's running any kind of operation.
Not alone, at least. I want to know who he's working for, and how he ties into all this.
Or what?
Everything. The Mafia's alive and well in this town, and you know that as well as I do. If your assignment has proven anything over the last 8 months, it's that we don't have a fucking clue who's at the top.
Just because I haven't found anything yet doesn't mean we're on the wrong path.
Well, you're the only one who thinks so then. I refuse to believe that Xander's ties with the Mafia world were cut with the death of his brother. It doesn't make sense. Not when you know what kind of man you're dealing with.
Defeated, the younger officer opens up the top folder on the table and skims through.
Everything in here is about their parents. There's absolutely nothing pointing to Gerald or Xander.
Gerald was killed only a few short days after his mother. There wasn't enough time to build a case on him. When he died, the FBI stopped investigating. So, either Xander's a better leader than everyone could have imagined, or...
Or what?
Or he's just a figurehead for some much larger crime ring. The one we've been trying to break all these years.
Even if he is, what good would that do us if we find out for sure?
It's more to go on than you've given us so far. Think about it. We can bust this thing open. We'll be able to make a case for the people who are really running the show.
And you think all we have to do is prove that Xander Gallo is involved in some way?
Not in some way. At the top. As the figurehead.
You're holding out on me, Chief. You have a theory, and I need to know what that is if I'm going to swallow any of this bullshit.
Fine. You want to know what I think? I think that the Gallo family itself is still very much in control of the Mafia ring in this town. Xander is the figurehead, but the younger Gallos, and that rambunctious cousin of his, they're the ones who are running the show.
The younger Gallows? Okay, the cousin Dean, he makes sense, but aren't the rest of them all teenagers?
Kevin Gallo, oldest son of Gerald, is 26. Still young, but not young enough to rule him out. His father was very ambitious, and we have no reason to doubt he isn't the same.
Okay, well, what about the others?
Xander's sons, Ron and Bert. Ron's a college man now, 20 years old. Where'd he get the money for school? How's he handling his financials without a job? His broke-ass jobless daddy paying the bills? And Bert, well, we all know his story. Got his first kill at the age of 8. A family member, no less. Isn't that just the type you'd want to hire for the dirty jobs?
Yeah, but he's only 19.
Here's just a funny thing in the world of crime. It's somewhat less discriminatory than in the realm of law.
Yeah, I guess so. What about the girls?
Xander's oldest daughter, Shauna, doesn't even live around here. I think it's safe to say she's got ties with him.
And the others?
High schoolers. I wouldn't rule them out completely either, but I do have my doubts. Right now, we focus on Xander. The kiddies can wait until we found proof linking him to the crime ring.
Oh, Chief Wiggum voice. Yeah.
The young officer continues leafing through the documents. There was next to nothing on Gerald, much less on Xander himself. The officer knows the chief may be onto something, but also that it was a very deep and dangerous case to get mixed up in. But of course, in these particular circumstances, this undercover officer didn't have a choice. Wonder who the undercover is. Chapter 2, Kevin's life. Okay. Started with Izzy, now we're on Kevin. Damn it, where did I put my keys? Hun, did you move my keys somewhere? Did I ever? I should have known better than to ask. No matter how many times I ask her a question like that, the answer is always the same. And it's not to say that it shouldn't be, as I'm sure she's right. I need to pay more attention to these things. Still, I've opened myself up to an attack by not shutting my stupid yap, and I really don't have time for this right now. Why do you always think I moved them? If you just pay more attention when you put them down.
I know. I asked out of habit.
And where'd this habit come from exactly? I never move any of your things.
When you clean up, you...
Oh my god, shut your idiot mouth, Kevin. I leave your things for you to clean up, or I ask you where you want them to go.
Okay, well, I'm in a hurry. Can you help me find them, please?
Fine. Where are you in a rush to? Doesn't she know? No matter how many times she asks me that question, the answer is always the same. I can't tell you. I can't say it because you really don't want to know. You've made that very clear over the years, and I've held up my end of it pretty nicely.
It's business.
That'll shut her up for a bit. No more questions now. We gotta find my keys. I check the sofa, in between the cushions, under, in front, and behind it. Nada. I watch Rachel in my peripherals to make sure we don't end up checking the same places. She always checks the weirdest spots. Behind the TV, beside the picture frames, the phone? What the hell good is that gonna do? Found them!
Huh?
They were on top of the phone. You must have hung them there while you were taking your shoes off when you came in.
You've got to be kidding me!
My first near reaction is to blame her and accuse her of moving them on me, but then I think better of it. And thinking on it a little more, she's probably right. Damn it. She's always right. Number one rule of a happy marriage, folks. Wife is always right. Do I know you or do I know you? It would appear so. She walks her little sexy walk towards me and dangles my keys in front of my face. I grab them from her, but there's no escaping her at this point. Her arms clasp around my neck and she goes in for a kiss. Just when I was all ready to leave, now I want to stay. I swear it happens every goddamn time. There's nothing more precious in life, to me in my life, than this girl. And just thinking about that, it brings to mind how happy she made me the other day. It'd been a long and stressful day at work, Xander had made yet another huge fuck up, and of course I couldn't count on Dean to clean it up by himself. After all that, when I walked in the door thinking that things couldn't possibly have been any worse, there she was. She was sitting on the couch, right in front of the TV. A huge smile spread across her face, and her eyes stared directly into mine. My attention was completely captured, and by some miracle, I had actually managed to ensnare hers as well. I can't remember the last time she ever looked so happy. Maybe never. No, definitely never. I instantly forgot the hard day I'd had as she got up from the couch and walked steadily towards me, reaching out to me just as she had right now. Holding me close, she whispered the words, "We're going to be parents." That's what she said. Those were her exact words, and I'll never forget them. So simple, so blunt, but the weight they carried, it was magnificent. I think it just may have made me even happier than the night I proposed, and she jumped in my arms crying, "Yes, yes, of course, you idiot." I thought I'd never be happier than I had been in that moment, and yet 2 days ago, a mere 2 months after we got engaged, she had managed to do it again. That's who she is. She's the bringer of happiness, the girl of every man's dreams. Well, now she's going to die, isn't she? Let me guess, she was just about to retire next week. And she's all mine. You're not going to make me tell you to be careful, are you? Heh, when has that ever stopped her? She worries a lot, and who could blame her, really? What I do for a living, it isn't all that legal. At all legal, even. She knows that much. She probably knows a whole hell of a lot more than she lets on, too. But she doesn't let that get in the way of our relationship. She trusts me to do what I need to do to protect my family. And now that it's about to become a tiny bit bigger, it's even more important than ever. Or her baby grows up and is the star of the next story. 10 years later. I'd never ask you to do that. Have I ever? You can't blame me for worrying, especially with the little one on the way. I know, beautiful. I couldn't blame you for anything, ever. Huh, except when it comes to moving your stuff around, apparently. Yeesh, she got me there. I make a strange face, but the intended reaction of laughing doesn't occur. I saw that coming, but I'm never one to doubt the power of my charm. Or was it a lack thereof? Who knows? It must have been working for me at some point to have ended up with such a perfect woman. Not gonna work today, though. That's my cue to leave. Be careful. She blurts it out, and very unintentionally. Shit. I've said the words "I'll be fine" all too often, so I search my mind for something new. Something with a bit of added insurance. I come up with nothing. I kiss her again and head out the door, trying to shake the image of her worried face from my mind. Love you. I hear her faintly mimic my words as I shut the door behind me. It sucks to have to be the one to pull away every time, but I do, somehow. I do because if I didn't, she'd never concede. She would keep me there in her arms for as long as she possibly could. It would be bliss, of course, and I wish to hell I were able to let that happen. But I can't. I have responsibilities. I have to protect my family, and that is far from being exclusive to her. I have 2 younger sisters that depend on me and trust in me to keep them safe. I can't do that if I'm here all the time. Hell, I could barely do it when I'm out there trying to forge my way into the family business, making a name for myself amongst our, shall I say, business partners. In fact, I'm probably failing on all fronts. Izzy isn't safe. Not under Xander's roof, she isn't. Is this Izzy's older brother? And Maya, poor naive Maya, if she only knew the pain that awaits her if Xander isn't finally put out of his misery. No, this isn't her brother. Wait, is it? I'm sure it'll be figured out. Whatever it is, he knows who those two girls are. She's still young. She wouldn't understand. I lived under Xander's roof for 5 years after my father was killed. Never mind. Related. Okay. 5 whole years living in the same house as my own father's killer and the one who drove him into madness. Older brother. Got it. I know the hardships Izzy faces now that I'm gone, and she has to suffer the brunt of most of his abuse. His violent, drunken moods, his abusive words, the various things he threw at me in the midst of his depressive episodes. I know what Izzy is being forced to endure, and yet I've broken away to my freedom and she can't. That's all on me. And until I'm able to save her, I can't let anything else get in my way. It's been 7 years since I left my sisters alone in that house, and with that good-for-nothing piece of shit. And now, with Ron off at college, that's one less person to take on his barrage of constant abuse.
The fuck's the holdup?
Why did I give him that voice?
Sorry, I was just saying goodbye to my fiancée. And you wonder why no one shows you any fucking respect? Goddamn pansy!
I know enough to not say anything back to him. Dean is constantly in a bad mood, but it isn't difficult to change his mood from bad to worse. He's been like that ever since my dad died and Xander took over for him. He hates Xander, probably just as much as I do. But Dean hates my father even more. I know he felt betrayed by him the night he lost his mind and killed my Aunt Molly. We all felt that. Dean is different, though. I think it's because he knew more than he let on about what drove my father to act in the way he did. Or like he knew something was wrong with him, but never did anything to stop it. I don't quite know all of his reasons. I know my father made him do some things in the end that he wasn't proud of. A man by the name of Terrence Childers was killed a short while before that fateful night. That was probably Dean underacting my father's orders. There was a kid that was killed too, but no one could ever prove that had anything to do with my father. Dean is most likely the only one alive who knows for sure how everything actually played out. But no matter how it happens, there's no denying that he holds my father responsible, and he despises me for being the true heir to his legacy. I don't know what happened all those years ago, and I've stopped trying to convince myself that my father had his meticulously calculated and just reasons for what he did. When everything was said and done, I had to question all I had learned from him. But there was one thing he was right about. It was my responsibility to take care of my family. That's where he failed, and my mother failed too. They were weak and abandoned us in the end. I won't let that happen to me, because if I do, Izzy, Maya, Rachel, and to some extent even my cousins. Who's Rachel? That's the first time we've seen that name. Wait, no, that's his fiance. Freaking duh. They'll all lose hope and eventually become like this asshole who stands before me. Oh, like Izzy isn't?
Come on, hurry the fuck up!
We get in Dean's truck and buckle in. Well, I do. Dean's too cool for seatbelts. Either that or he just doesn't give a shit. I seem to recall in 1989 seatbelts were kind of optional anyway. They didn't become like law here in the States anyway until like 91 or 92, something like that, right when I was born. And even when I was growing up, there were a lot of people that I knew who just flat out refused to wear them because, I don't know. I've always worn them. Like, whenever I'm in a car and I can't wear a seatbelt for whatever reason, I just feel so wrong. Wear a seatbelt, people. If you take one thing out of every stream I've ever done, take that. Wear a seatbelt, and if you don't, I hope you get fined. There was a time when he was kind of like the fun uncle. Us kids would all love it when he came around. The fondest memories I have are when he'd show up at our place and he'd grab Izzy by the waist, pick her up, and float her around in the air, making airplane engine noises. Well, I mean, they've been mandatory equipment, but they've not been mandatory for you to actually wear them by law. If the car doesn't have a seatbelt, it's fine. Buses are fine, but if the car has a seatbelt, you are required by law to wear it whenever the car is in motion. It's got to be that he did it every time he was over. As soon as she heard his voice, she'd come running to the front door, yelling out, "Airplane!" Aw, sounds like Izzy used to be a pretty happy kid. I miss that. I miss him. Hell, I miss that cute little kid that used to be my sister. Izzy's had it rough since our parents died. Sometimes it feels like the life has been completely sucked out of her. Came across to me there, too. It's hard to accept that the old days will never find their way back, but it's the reality I've been facing for quite a while now. God, if I had never met Rachel, maybe I never would have made it out from the slump of depression either. She gave me a hope anew, so that even though my sisters and I can never return to the people we were in the old days, maybe we can bring about a new generation of happy children who won't have to face the kinds of tragedies we've been forced to. Rachel does that for me, gives me that hope. And when she told me the other day that she was pregnant, for the very first time, that hopeful dream showed its face from beyond the horizon. And now I believe it's entirely possible. It's all coming together, finally. I have entered the final phase of my plan. The only thing that stands in the way of my salvation is my bastard uncle. Boy, it kind of sounds like the whole world would be better if someone just put a bullet between this guy's eyes, huh? Not for long. In a few days, things will finally be set in motion. I will bring about the end of Xander Gallo, and I'll be the head of the Gallo family. Xander has plunged us into debt, brought about dishonor to our family name, and dragged me along for the ride through the mud. The Gallos are the laughingstock of the criminal underworld. We've always been outsiders, but we were the outsiders people feared. We had a monopoly in this town, and even if we weren't respected as we should have been, our families had no choice but to business with us. It hasn't been like that in a long time, and it's all Xander's fault. I've paid my dues, reestablished weakened relationships, helped to strengthen operations we had no business being a part of, and pulled our tarnished name from the muddy pits back to the surface of the world. It took me 7 years of tireless labor, seemingly unending secret encounters behind Xander and Dean's backs, and literally thousands of dollars in personal financial losses to get where I am now. And now, finally, I'm exactly where I need to be. Dean can either get on board with it or share Xander's fate. I honestly couldn't care less at this point. He's made his own bed, and the rest is up to him. I want to laugh him off. I want to laugh at him. I want to laugh at him right now, sitting next to me without even a hint of how it's all going to go down. In only a few more days, we have a major deal going down. It's the biggest one we've been involved in since the days of my grandparents being in charge. The entire orchestration of this meeting can be attributed to my hard work. The men on the other end of this deal are my contacts, relationships that were forged carefully and secretly over the last 5 years. Thanks for showing up, Asbester, as well. Congratulations on launching this game on consoles. I'm having a great time playing this so far. And thank you very much for popping in. It's always great whenever devs come in and say hi. If anything else, I love Izzy's design. Just throwing that out there. And of course, since it's such a huge sell, the head of the Gallo family will have to make an appearance. It's all a little complicated, but basically the gist of the situation is that I've been playing these idiots for the fools they are. I've had them convinced that Xander Gallo is a genius, an opportunist, and a ruthlessly ambitious leader who has organized many of the criminal murders that have littered the mafia underworld throughout the 1980s. We're in the midst of a sort of American mafia war. It began the year after my father was killed. A coalition was forged by a mafia clan in the early 70s in an attempt to dominate the mafia underworld. It was perhaps the single greatest takeover in history, as the poorer clan's members were baited into joining, turning on their own clans, and one by one, formerly powerful clans were taken out completely. Hundreds of clan members and their families were killed by the coalition. Those who refused to fall to its power were taken out, and even those who sought to join were murdered if they were seen as too ambitious. It's been a total and complete massacre. A few smaller clans and families were able to stay afloat, such as us. It's because we're seen as nothings. Small time, low-life wannabes. That's what we've become. And that's precisely how we've managed to survive. But you see, most of the people we deal with, they don't have that kind of insightful information. Not even the police really know who's behind all these killings. Not yet, anyway. This is information I've bought and pried for over the years. Information that has never reached the ears of my fellow family members. I know many of the members involved in the coalition, and I've essentially become one of the subverted clan members. Using that information I've gained from the bigwigs in the coalition, I've convinced many of the small-time crooks we deal with that Xander is, in fact, secretly one of the generals of this mysterious coalition. That's upped our profits by quite a bit over the last couple years, as they now fear his wrath. And why shouldn't they believe it? Everyone who's met Xander knows his violent personality fits the bill perfectly. Anyway, my position is rather convenient, being the son of the murdered man that many hold Xander responsible for. I've forged strong relationships with these criminals, and have formed kind of my own little coalition. Unbeknownst to the rest of the mafia underworld. And the first act of this new partnership will be sprung into action in only a few short days. This deal that is being held, the one that Xander needs to attend, is a deal with my newfound friends. It's all a setup. As soon as Xander and his trusted men are taken out, I will be instated as the head of the Gallo family, and we can start on our new ventures as a larger, stronger, and much more powerful force than we have been in recent years. But the important thing above all else is that Xander will finally be gone. I suppose I should feel bad. I am, for all intents and purposes, acting like a rat. But just take a second and think about how this whole mafia war got started in the first place. It was because of people like me surrendering to a higher power in order to survive. It's hard to feel bad when you don't really have any other choice. It's either subvert or die. And die, Xander shall. I've been feeling exceedingly nervous these past couple days, knowing that I'm finally on the brink of reaching the high life. With all these new partnerships in place and the numerous deals we have planned, I'll be able to provide for my family and build a new legacy for the Gallows. Man, whenever I say Gallows, that makes it sound like, Am I worried about the coalition? No, not really. How long can their reign truly last? With so many goddamned rats in the organization, someone's bound to crack under police pressure eventually. And who the hell up in the bigger cities is paying attention to our tiny little shithole of a town right now anyway? No one. Absolutely nobody. As far as any of them are concerned, the Gallo family is dead and gone, so who gives a fuck about the remnants? I can continue to think on the many plans I have for after the end of the coalition, but I should probably try and stay fixated on the task at hand. Xander's murder is the only thing I need to worry about right now. The rest can come later. I've worked so hard on this plan, and it's all coming to fruition as I'd hoped. And no one close to Xander has any semblance of a fucking clue.
We're here.
Dean's voice makes me jump slightly. I really got lost in my thoughts for a while there. I don't think he noticed. Not that he'd care if he did. I take a look around at our surroundings as I unbuckle my seatbelt. I wasn't paying all that much attention as we drove, but we're out in the country somewhere. That's a nice house. We pulled up to what looks almost like some sort of resort or golf club. As Dean gets out of his car, slamming the door loudly behind him, I have no choice but to follow suit. And just as I do, I can see a man walking out to greet us.
You toady?
Hell yeah!
I'm told you're the guy I've got to go through to get this territory thing settled.
Well, you are operating on my turf, so yeah. Who's the blonde kid? Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Some rich Italian scumbag just wanting a piece of any pie he can get a whiff of. I've seen this type of person all too many times. I hate the way you said that, blonde kid. It's bad business to show someone disrespect as a first impression. Either he's a terrible businessman or he's not intent on making a deal with us at all. Dean, what the hell have you gotten us into?
Relax, he's harmless.
Top it off by undermining me. 2 bad businessmen. I can see where this is going, and I already want out. People have told me the same thing. People have been told the same thing about me plenty of times. That I'll believe. Who's this guy trying to be with that ridiculous suit?
Look, we're here to talk business, so talk.
The number we previously talked about should be fine. I'd be willing to discuss matters further, but I don't trust your partner here. I'm hating this ignorant fuck more and more by the second. I'm not fucking going anywhere, asshole. In fact, those numbers you talked about are about to drop due to your piss-poor attitude and show of disrespect.
Whatever. Take a walk, Kevin. This won't take long.
Goddamn right it won't. We're leaving.
Don't be a spoiled little shit. Just let me take care of this.
I didn't waste my goddamn time coming all this way to piss around taking in the sights of a shitty little frat boys club. This shit is over. Now.
You're pushing my last nerve, Kev.
Quite the attitude on that one. I can let it slide on account of the fact that I appreciate spunk. So what? Want to be best friends, motherfucker? I should unload a chamber full of bullets on this piece of shit right now.
Christ. Listen, if the number sounds good, then we got nothing else to talk about anyway. Am I right?
Well, there is the matter of a few small conditions.
Forget it.
Dean starts walking back towards the car. Great, so now we're leaving, just because Dean was able to make the call for himself. What a fucking child. I'll give him a piece of my mind if it weren't for the fact that I'm glad to be leaving. This whole goddamn charade was nothing but a waste of time. What? You aren't even gonna hear me out? It's not like my conditions are unreasonable, nor would they prove to be an inconvenience to you or your boys.
Then name your terms and get it the hell over with.
Damn it, are you fucking kidding me? incredible. Just in-fucking-credible. I've been banned from the strip club your cousin runs. I've been known to get a bit handsy, shall we say. Give me access to the joint, and I'll give you freedom to traverse my turf all you want.
Fine.
And one more thing. The next time we meet, and we definitely will, I'd like to meet this cousin of yours face to face.
I'll see what I can do. That it?
It is. I told you my terms were more than reasonable. What a cocky little prick. Has to feel like he's got the upper hand. That goes for both of them. We get back in the car and start driving away. I want to rip into Dean for the way he treated me in front of that low-life shitbag. I don't have the words, though. All I could do is keep thinking about what will transpire over the next few days. Dean will know his place soon enough. It's time things finally changed in this family. Falling back into my daydreams, ignoring the tense silence held between us, I close my eyes and try to calm down. The drive is even shorter than last time, seemingly. Not a word is spoken between us. We get back to my apartment, and Dean follows me up the steps.
Mind if I steal a beer or two?
Would it stop him from doing it if I said yes? Not worth it.
Go ahead. So, what the hell was the point in all that?
Return trips always do feel faster. What's up with that? You're right, they do. What's up with that?
What do you mean?
I hear him rummaging through the fridge for a beer that suits his taste. I doubt he'll find one.
That meeting! Who is that rich fuck, and why do we need him? I told you before. We need free access across his routes. So what? We'll fucking take it! We don't want any trouble. Wrong! That's exactly what we do! That's exactly what we do want, so that punks like him will think twice before messing with us. I don't know what kind of dream world you're living in, bucko, but we don't exactly have the kind of manpower to be stumbling into any kind of turf war. Jesus Christ, would you man the fuck up for a second and stop being so goddamn cautious?
This is the voice I'm giving him on purpose.
A guy like that is exactly the type you can't trust not to blab to the cops. That little weasel doesn't know shit. He's just a small highway fee along the roadside. No harm done on either side.
If he only knew what I know about the Coalition, he wouldn't be acting so prissy. He's so worried about pissing off the wrong people, he can't even make a stand anymore. About anything. The part that worries guys in this line of business the most right now is that they don't know where all the killing is coming from, or rather, who's calling the shots and what their game plan is. Dean is scared because he has no idea. Where exactly is his fiance in all of this? Rachel? Where exactly is she? This is his apartment. This is her apartment. Where is she? I can't even think straight. I'm so frustrated that I can't explain it to him. That would ruin everything. A few more days, Kevin. Just a few more, and you won't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Why don't we just go running in the streets, passing out money to people? I feel like we're running a fucking charity operation for the rich and lazy. Look, when you're in charge of things, you do whatever you want. But right now, we do things my way.
He takes a giant swig from his beer, gulping down the rest of it. As he moves toward the front door, I realize he won't be grabbing another. Guess he's not in the mood to talk. Figures.
I'm out.
With that, he leaves. And now I'm left to myself. I was hoping I'd be back before Rachel left for work, but I didn't see her car in her usual parking spot. There we go. Nothing to do for the rest of the day but plan. And pray to hell it all goes as planned. into chapter 2. Would you like to read the tips? Yeah, let's read the tips and then call it there for today.
Yo, Xander, got a minute? Who the hell let you in? Door was unlocked. Probably because of that stupid little one. Maya? Yeah, on her way to school, no doubt. So what do you want? Those guys our boys had a run-in with last week. You know, the territory dispute. Anyway, I found out who's running things on their end. Sorta. Some guy by the name of Tony B. Real rich motherfucker. Arrogant as shit, too. So what the fuck do I care? Heh, last time I checked, you were the one in charge. Leave it alone. We'll find another route. Xander, you gotta be kidding me. This little punk needs to be taught a lesson. You gotta back down to someone like that. You wanted my fucking answer, now you have it. Find another fucking way! Look, these Mephisto murders have everyone shaken up right now. We can't just sit by losing money to every fucking little poser who steps up for a fight. Well, when it's you who stands to lose his life over it, you can make that fucking decision for yourself. Make a deal with that little shit or find another fucking route. It's not bloody difficult, team. Xander Gallo, the man who transformed into a crying little girl. Long live the fucking king.
Oh, boy. I'm not yelling that. I don't want for my neighbors to call the cops. You can read it yourself. I'm not reading that. Oh. Nope, we save. Right there. There we go. And... it won't let me go to the main menu. Why not? I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay. What a start, man. Okay, we've met most of these characters on the screen so far. We know Izzy and Kevin because we've had 2 chapters with them. We know Maya by proxy and Amy, and guy starts with B, and I don't know that other guy. What a start to a game. Man, this has my curiosity piqued. I really hope I get to come back Friday and continue playing this. Regardless, Crime Opera 1 and 2 are coming to consoles this week. One will not be on PlayStation, but other than that, everything will be available everywhere. So, yeah. Man, this is interesting. This is really interesting. It's been a while since I've played a brand new VN, and I'm glad that I got to play this one. Yep. Yes, Tim? Yes? I was just thinking about that, Dim. It might, in fact, be a good game to continue on Sundays after I'm done with Zhanyan Sword, although it will be quite some time before I'm done with Zhanyan Sword, so yeah, we'll see. Well, huge shout out to Esbester, the developer of this game, who popped in and said hi. Great game. I'm liking it a lot so far. Very interesting. I like the characters. Izzy's still a brat, but I do love her design. Anyway, thank you to Esbester, Dimlord, and Jiraiya for being here. Shout out to the lurkers, and shout out to everyone watching on YouTube afterwards. I'll be back Friday. Maybe I'll be continuing this. Maybe I'll be playing something else. We'll find out then. On behalf of East Asia Soft, I have been Skull. Have yourselves a great day and a great week, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.